The percentage of female rappers in the Billboard Hot 100 has increased from 6% in the 1990s to nearly 30% in the 2020s. And with that, we've seen the emergence of some incredible female talent, ranging from the incredible lyrical, miracle, spiritual individuals like Rhapsody or No Name, to Doechii, who is the exciting new talent off TDE on the brink of superstardom, to Megan Thee Stallion, whether you love her or hate her. She kicked off the legendary run of diss tracks we got in 2024 with some lethal bars aimed that Young Money titans Drake and Nicki Minaj on her song Hiss. And with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B settling into their roles as the veterans within this modern era of female hip-hop, it seemed as though the crown for the princess of rap was for the taking. And for the last few years, one of the stronger candidates to step into that role of the new it girl in mainstream hip-hop seemed to be Ice Spice. Her look and vibe mirrored the aesthetic of nostalgic 2000s fashion and aura. Her go-to producer Riot brought an interesting twist to New York drill music with his sample-heavy, upbeat production. Her flow sounded refreshing, something we hadn't heard before, and while her subject matter wasn't necessarily something we hadn't heard before, her personality and stage presence, let's just call it that, made up for where she lacked in terms of lyricism. The future looked promising for Ice Spice, with the queen of rap, Nicki Minaj, even knighting her as the new princess of hip-hop. The only thing she was missing was a blessing from Lil B to become the next biggest thing, but in the summer of 2024, things took a darker turn for Ice Spice. See, I had done a video way back in July when her debut album just dropped, and just based off the first listen alone and a culmination of the mediocre promotional tactics to build hype for the album, I had said the day that the album dropped that Ice Spice was about to become a part of the 28K Club. That's basically a collection of artists as of recent times who have failed to offer us anything innovative, and as a result, their albums failed to sell over 28,000 copies in the first week. There's a laundry list of these artists this year: Polo G, Quavo, A Boogie, NLE Choppa, Fabio Foreign, Coi Leray, French Montana. There's more, and this is not to say that album sales are all that matter. We saw Ice Spice's female rap counterpart Doechii sell less than Ice Spice this year, but she was initially working off a much smaller fan base and has been slowly building it up, letting the music take a front seat, and as a result, her album is getting streamed more today than it was 3 months ago when it first released. And there's some artists that you could definitely tell have had much bigger marketing budgets, wider scale promotional campaigns, bigger prior hits, and making music that was designed for the charts, aka designed to sell well. So when those type of artists flop, it means much more to their careers than, let's say, a Cordae, for example, who just sold 10K with his latest project in the first week, but you're not going to him for the blockbuster release. You're going to him for high quality music that will stand the test of time. Ice Spice, on the other hand, was gearing up to drop this massive debut. She was receiving every major look possible, collaborating with Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift, doing TikToks with Kim Kardashian and her daughter. She was at every award show, Met Gala, I think. I don't really keep up with that. But she was everywhere, and the day her album dropped, I said she was about to be part of that 28K Club. And sure enough, I was right. I'm always right. Just kidding. This is just my opinion. So once you finish the video, let me know where I got it wrong down in the comments. But I was right on that sales prediction. And you could chalk it up to that project not really having anything exciting on it, but you're here for the deep dives. And I think there is something much deeper at play here. Because with an artist like Ice Spice, who has made virtually the exact same song her entire career, in order to maintain that same level of success, she didn't necessarily need to change things up drastically on this new album. Just keep things exciting with some good quotables like "think you the crap, but you're really the fart," or have her producer Riot chop up some catchy samples. Those two things alone could have carried the entire project, but there was none of that. But that's not even the main reason why she fell from grace. See, Ice Spice's music wasn't what carried her into superstardom to begin with. The music was just the byproduct. Her persona was the asset. The music was just the dividend. In the content creator / influencer space, the level of talent you have, especially if you're deriving your audience from Instagram and TikTok, talent doesn't necessarily matter. Looks and personality do. That's why Kim Kardashian came in the game with virtually no real specific talent, but fast forward 10 years later, she's making billions of dollars off of underwear. Those Skims jogger shorts might leave your coochie tingling more than a Tickle Me Elmo doll, but they'll still sell out because people want to look and feel like Kim Kardashian. Those prison meals that Logan Paul and Mr. Beast are selling in every single grocery store across the world can taste like absolute dog food, but kids will still want to buy those lunchly meals because all over Instagram you see Logan Paul and the Rizzler and Mr. Beast and the Hawk Tuah girl ranting and raving about how drippy this cheese is. And I'm ashamed that I know all this, but my point is, it's the personality that pushes the product. And it was never any different with Ice Spice. She sold people on her persona, The music is just the accessory to her brand. Ice Spice blew up because she was cute, had a nice personality, and was beautiful. Just like Nicki Minaj when she first came out, Ice's beauty was magnetic. Women wanted to be her, and men wanted to be with her. That's why her Instagram posts had more likes than Mark Zuckerberg's, even though he owns the damn platform. That's why she could go platinum on Instagram every day with millions of likes, but can't sell millions of albums to save her life. But it wasn't just the looks, it was Ice Spice's unproblematic personality. See, in Ice Spice's formula to success, I chalk up the two ingredients to her superstardom being the ice, which is her just being a really cool, likable girl, and the spice, which was her beauty. When she first came out, she was just this cool, likable, unproblematic girl, which was kind of a breath of fresh air when you constantly see Cardi B crashing out on Offset during Twitter Spaces, or Nicki Minaj defending her royal throne by beefing with any rapper or journalist necessary. The only one with a bigger opolis is her Young Money counterpart, Drake. Then you got Rhapsody and Doechii, who are amazing artistically, but their music requires a little bit of a higher level of careful listening that the casual listener might not want to do. Then you got Megan Thee Stallion and Lotto, who had a more aggressive attitude towards them, which is great. We love the confidence, but Ice Spice again was just this simplistic, unproblematic, nice lady. Kind of like the female equivalent of a J. Cole or a Tyler, the Creator. While you got Drake and Kendrick Lamar battling for the throne, Tyler and J. Cole kind of remain unbothered, dropping what they feel like when they feel like. And people love them for authentically being themselves. So again, the recipe to Ice Spice's success was easily likable personality plus being beautifully oatmeal thick, as she puts it, driving her to be a thriving social media star with her internet buzz funneling her fans into her music. But with that social media buzz, she really could have sold anything. Purses, itchy lingerie like Kim Kardashian, clown makeup, it didn't matter as long as the likability of her personality was kept intact. I say all that to emphasize when I predicted that her album would flop, it wasn't cause the music necessarily was bad, which it kind of was, but it was everything leading up to the album being bad. Don't get me wrong, the album wasn't good, but that's not what mattered. It was how everything became inauthentic. See, again, in this social media age where authenticity and personality drives brand likability, you need to connect with your audience on an emotional level more than ever. But it wasn't always like this. We went from seeing Lady Gaga in meat costumes at award shows to now seeing Billie Eilish dressed in very basic, simple, baggy clothes. Nicki Minaj was rocking these crazy big wigs with all her alter egos and different characters. But Cardi B, who was the next runner-up, was much more unpolished. She came from fighting girls on Love and Hip Hop, dancing in the strip club, but it was that authenticity that people gravitated towards. The same authenticity that people thought Ice Spice had. She was unproblematic, wasn't starting drama, didn't have strong opinions on anything. She gave her flowers to the artists that came before her, like Nicki Minaj. That was the ice. She just seemed very cool. But that was all up until April of 2024, where her self-proclaimed ex-best friend, Baby Stormé, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, she went on a massive rant on social media saying the next person to be exposed will be my ex-best friend, Isis, or as y'all know her, Ice Spice. She exposed Ice Spice, allegedly, with various different claims, saying that the girl who is always next to Ice Spice, an artist by the name of Cleo, who will play a very important role in this story very shortly, allegedly they weren't really best friends, this was all for show, and it was all just a big fabricated lie. Stormé said, "This is Cleo, the girl she chose to be her best friend to the public," when in reality, it was me behind the scenes. Cleo and her are not really best friends. Isis has always hated Cleo, but she used her so she could appear closer to her blackness. She also lied about being Nigerian. She stole that from me. She also said that Ice's right-hand producer, Riot, was actually her boyfriend and knew at the time that Ice Spice was cheating on him with Lil TJ, and that they even made a song about it. She said Riot has been her producer and boyfriend since 2019. He was the real mastermind behind her career and the one who pushed her to rap. She cheated on him with TJ and then rapped about it on their song together. If you don't believe me, just go back and read the lyrics to Gangsta Boo. But this time, read carefully. They were talking about him. She knows no loyalty, not even to the only person who has always been there for her, Riot. But the most interesting accusation that this quote-unquote former best friend to Ice Spice made was that she allegedly felt like she sold her soul to Nicki Minaj for fame. She said, "Lotto rose to fame because of her talent and talent only. Ice Spice rose to fame because she sold her soul. She knew she would never have a fraction of the amount of talent Lotto had, so she attacked her on purpose to get a Nicki Minaj feature so the barbs would turn on Lotto. It hurt her career because Lotto is a rapper and they have the same fan base. but I'm not a rapper, so the barbs can't touch my career. She also leaked alleged text messages between her and Ice Spice, where Ice was complaining about Nicki Minaj taking too high of a percentage off the profits of their song Barbie World together. And all of this is what we would call main character syndrome. All those likes and Instagram love gets to your head. You start acting up on your boyfriend. You start disrespecting your elders like Nicki Minaj. But in the end, all this could have been swept under the rug, considering Ice Spice never addressed them, and she was much more popular than the woman making all these accusations against her. But then she goes on to pull, in my opinion, one of the worst moves she made of her career, where she faked a relationship with fellow rapper Central Cee to promote their new song together. Now, this guy was in a long-term relationship and seemingly broke it off to do whatever he was doing with Ice Spice for a couple weeks to help her promote her album, whatever he was doing. But again, the two factors of her success, the ice and the spice. If people viewed her as this girl out here home wrecking, it takes away from your likability, that cool, unproblematic essence that you had to your personality. Then there's the spice factor. If people see you cuffed up to this guy, it takes away from the mystique of what's going on in your personal life. Now, I could be wrong on this, especially since this is coming from a guy's perspective who, hasn't really looked into the historical data of how being in a public relationship with a fellow celebrity affects your likability and clout as another celebrity. But looking back on hip-hop, we can kind of see that there's this common pattern of female rappers always having this incentive or this instinct to hide the relationship that they're in. Probably because, being seen as being single makes you look more independent, more confident maybe. Like R&B singers, they're always singing about love. That's why people obsess over the relationships that they're in. You'll see tons of media coverage over Rihanna or Beyonce's relationships. They built their brand around love. But rappers are always constantly talking about independence, running things on their own. Being attached to the hip of someone else kind of kills that momentum or that mystique. It goes for the male rappers too. Look at A$AP Rocky. The guy's buzz has never been lower since he became Rihanna's baby daddy. And there's a reason why for the first 4 years of Nicki Minaj's career, you couldn't tell that her backup dancer, Safari, was actually her childhood boyfriend. Or that Lotto to this day has a viral meme about thanking her man, but no one has ever seen her step out with her man. Allegedly, it's 21 Savage, but nothing's confirmed to this day. And now again, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but the biggest thing that I'm not wrong on is that this was definitely a fake relationship between Ice Spice and Central Cee. A week after the album dropped, they were never seen together again. And again, people want that authenticity. Fake home wrecking, a fake relationship to promote a mid-song about cheating doesn't make you look like a good, authentic, genuine person. But okay, the album drops, it's mid, so it flops. Then she goes on tour, and the next sequence of events kind of make things seem even worse. First, she's twerking on stage, looking absolutely robotic, like she hates her life or like she's clocking into some 9-to-5 job while she's dancing around thousands of fans. That spice factor not looking too good. And then I don't know if it's because she was on tour, if she was working out a lot or what, but as the internet says, the ice melted. Like, Ice Spice must have lost around 30 to 40 pounds, and people liked her for her natural curves. Again, that authenticity. No BBL, there was no surgery, no enhancements, it was all natural. It was all because of the oats. Now, there's nothing wrong with losing weight and being healthy. That's obviously a great thing, but this weight loss happened ridiculously fast, and she lost a little bit too much weight. Like, I'm gonna put a picture up right here. Like, for this to be a 6-month difference is a little bit concerning, to say the least. And I mean, I'm seeing people online saying she looks like T.I.'s son. There's been rumors of this weight loss being thanks to the new pill there that I don't think I'm allowed to say the name of on YouTube if I want this video to stay up. Ozempic. And this also takes away from one of the key ingredients of her formula to success, which was the beauty aspect. Being unhealthily skinny like this does not help with the spice appeal, and not that that should necessarily matter if it's, a healthy weight loss, but at the end of the day, there's no denying that that was a massive part of Ice Spice's brand that is slowly now being stripped away. If you want to make songs about shaking it at the deli, you gotta have something to shake, or you gotta shake the ink of that pen and get to writing some better songs. It's really one or the other. Like, I couldn't care less what Kendrick Lamar looks like. As long as he's giving us bangers, I'm good. But that's not part of his formula to success. He didn't derive his core audience from TikTok and Instagram. But okay, again, that's only one factor of her formula to success, right? There's the ice and the spice. Her personality and ideally her artistry should ideally carry her way more than her looks can. But we got the album. Obviously, that music wasn't carrying her career. So the final variable in this formula for success, the ice, the cool personality, was the main thing that she had to hold on to. But the final nail in the head came after her tour, where Cleo, the alleged fake best friend that Ice Spice's alleged real ex-best friend claimed was not really her real best friend. This is like best friendception. But yeah, that Cleo girl basically went on tour with Ice Spice at the very last minute, came out and did a massive 15-minute TikTok rant accusing Ice Spice of horrible mistreatment all throughout the tour, so much so that she had to leave the tour early because she was barely getting paid off of it. She couldn't afford the hotels, even though Ice Spice had promised her she'd be compensated for everything. Allegedly, she couldn't get as much as a chicken salad and had to walk to McDonald's 20 minutes away all by herself. I'm going to try to drop a video of Cleo's rant right here.
Ain't no friends in the game. But me thinking I was cool with Ice before all of this, da 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 da. I didn't think she was gonna be a weirdo over time. So when I told her about everything, she literally turned around. When I say everything, I told her everything. She winds up telling me that she told her manager to tell my manager that I'm gonna need to get my own room. What I was confused on is that I told you how I felt in Philly, but you couldn't tell me how you felt in Philly. And that's why we weren't really friends. That's how I realized that we weren't really friends, because you can't even speak up to me, but had the audacity to say that I didn't say any of those stuff to you because I'm scared of you. Why would I be scared of you? I didn't want to say all those stuff above and then you completely ignore it, because that's what you did when I mentioned the stuff that happened in Philly. You ignored it. You did not care. So with that being said, if I was to explain everything how I explained it, you would literally not care at all.
But yeah, aside from this showing that if these allegations bear any truth, this really does make Ice Spice a horrible person in terms of how she treats her so-called friends, and completely dismantles her formula to success, diminishing the final variable of likability, as whether or not these allegations were true, Ice Spice was now painted in a horrible light. You couple that with Cleo also saying that this whole entire time she's really been in a long-term relationship with her producer Riot, which also takes away from her likability, because if she's in that relationship, great, but then why is she out here home wrecking Central Cee's relationship? Her other friends are accusing her of cheating on Riot with Lil TJ. None of these things make Ice Spice look like a likable person. Then there was that whole clip of her team doing a prayer before they went out to do a show, and Ice Spice was doing Fortnite emotes or devil hands or something during this prayer. She was distracted. I don't really know nothing about Fortnite or the devil, but she was doing something off here. She was not praying. But yeah, regardless, whether these allegations are true or not, right now Ice Spice is being painted as this homewrecker who has mistreated her best friend and her alleged boyfriend Riot, letting him play the sidelines while she snuggled up and pretended to homewreck Central Cee's relationship. She treated her friend so horribly that she had to leave tour. She allegedly wasn't even this girl's best friend. So both the beauty and the likability are now slowly melting away, the two ingredients to her formula of success. I think if Tyga was able to make a comeback, anyone can. So I'm not saying it's over for Ice Spice, but as we get deeper into the winter and time passes on, the ice and the spice are slowly melting away. So let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one.
There's a lot of little nuggets in both of their disses that if it wasn't for these breakdowns, and salute to guys like this, Rapaholics, because I think they directly get it.